welcome to Kingston's Coffee and Conversation, which is usually hosted by Robert Fennessy, the town administrator of Kingston, and today you're going to be the guest.
That's true.
Cheers.
So cheers.
Cheers. Okay,
Nice.
so we're going to talk a little bit about you as a person versus as a elected official today. So
Okay.
let's dig into your background.
Okay.
You've got very interesting, very eclectic, unique stuff. You've been a police officer, a deputy director of law enforcement, an elected official, a town manager in a different community, a lawyer, and a law professor and an actor. So let's talk about how this whole combination of background led you to where you are today.
Okay. So first of all, I like to be on that side of the room, not on this side. So it's a little different, a little more nerving.
But you do very well at this.
Okay, so going back, I'll have to think way back
Yeah.
to college days. I went to Northeastern University and I had a major in psychology and a minor in criminal justice.
Okay.
At that time, it was difficult to get police jobs. There weren't many out there. Fortunately, at Northeastern, they had a 5-year program.
The co-op
It was a
program.
co-op program.
Yep.
So I was in that program, and 6 months of that program, I worked for the MSPCA Law Enforcement Division. And that's the mass cruelty to animals.
Right.
So it was an animal investigator, animal cruelty investigator. So when I graduated Northeastern, I was offered the position as an investigator with them, a police officer. I went through the police academy, graduated.
So you have to be a police officer to be.
Yes, it's part
who-
of the special state police officers.
Okay.
So you go through the full police academy,
Okay.
like everybody else does.
But you dealt mainly with animal
Right,
issues. Okay.
it's focused on the cruelty
to animals, right.
So for a number of years I did that. Went back to school nights at BU and got my master's degree during the early years of my police work.
Okay.
And then moved up the ranks rather quickly. I was the youngest sergeant ever in the department. Then I became the youngest captain to attain that position in the department. And then the youngest deputy director of law enforcement. So it's a statewide organization. And a lot of responsibility, multi-million-dollar budget, and that was the administrative side that I got into.
Why do you think you moved up so quickly and so young? What was it about you?
I think I'm kind of a type A personality that I like to keep doing things. And you look at my history of going back to school, moving up. It's just something that's in me. I don't like to stay stagnant and not do something that betters me and betters the organization or anybody I work with.
So how long were you altogether with this division?
So I was there 20 years.
Wow.
In the meantime, the last 4 years of that 20 years, I went back to school, to law school.
Okay.
And I went evenings, worked all day, went to school nights, and graduated. And at that time, I passed the bar first time I took it.
Good for
which
you.
was a good
lot
thing.
Of people don't.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know what? I always liked municipal law and municipal government, and at that time I had served many years as a selectman in my own town of Plainville.
Okay.
So I thought, maybe I'm going to give that a shot and see what municipal management is like before I went into law. So I did. There was one opening on the MMA, which is the Mass Municipal Association, and it was for a community in Worcester County, and I applied for it, went through a rigorous interview process, and was hired.
So what exactly does the MMA do?
The MMA, Mass Municipal Association, is the association of all cities and towns.
Okay.
So they have part of their website is municipal jobs. So you can go on there and see what municipal jobs are available, and then you can apply for them.
Are these like town manager jobs?
Yes,
Okay.
but all jobs.
Okay.
Any job, we often post there for jobs that we have for HR, IT,
Okay,
all
okay.
that. Anything to do
So
with
as long as you're a
municipalities.
municipal employee in any town or city?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
So, so I took that position, and that was, where I cut my teeth in municipal management, and enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But, after a while, I thought, I'm spending 10 tens and tens of thousands of dollars for this law degree.
Right, and I'm not using it.
I gotta do it.
Right.
So I opened my law office in Walpole.
Okay.
And started practicing in municipal law, animal law, because that kind of followed me
Sure.
from the MSPCA.
With all your experience in animal law, yeah.
And employment law, and something I hate doing, but divorce law.
Okay.
But that pays.
Because it's quite prevalent and it pays well.
It pays the bills. The rest
Right.
of it,
Yeah.
the animal law doesn't pay much.
Now,
but
can you just give me an example of municipal law? Like,
okay,
when
it's-
would I call a municipal lawyer? When would you
for
be needed?
hearings, if the person is looking for an attorney to represent them at hearings, liquor hearings, or
Okay.
or before boards and committees, zoning matters.
Oh, okay, so
all the things. anything to do that,
Okay.
that you can get
Where an
involved in.
individual needs a lawyer to help them
Yes,
sell
yes.
something to the town? Or,
Right,
okay,
right.
gotcha.
So I did that for a number of years, 12 years, and still had that passion though for municipal law. So again, I came at the crossroads. I have two daughters.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter got married, and my youngest daughter was in college. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to look again in municipal management.
Okay.
And saw that day saw the ad for the town of Kingston.
Wanted a town
Yeah,
administrator.
for a town
Okay.
administrator,
All right.
and I applied for it, and that was like a 3 or 4 month process.
Sure.
Of they had a professional management group doing the
Interviews,
doing the
yeah, and screening.
screening.
Yep. Now, had you been a town manager before?
a town administrator in Boylston.
So you
For the
did have
town,
the experience
yes.
in
So I
this
had the-
actual same job? And,
Yes.
And when was that, and how long were you a town
And that was in
administrator?
2001 to 2003.
Okay.
And also, probably the biggest part of my learning curve was being a selectman for 18 years
Sure.
in my own town. I
Right.
also served on the Conservation Commission and the Finance
What
Committee.
didn't you do?
So, so it's true. And when I
Wow.
look back, it's and
Your
I- you know,
CV is massive.
even going
Yeah.
way back, I was a Big Brother in the Big Brother Association all during college,
Yeah.
and then for about 8 years after that to
Yeah.
a young boy in Somerville.
And you were an actor. Now tell me, because I was a theater major, so I have a passion for actors. So tell me about that.
Okay, I wasn't a theater major like
Okay.
you.
No, I know you
I
weren't.
know,
Yeah, you already
but,
said that.
but-
You were psychology and law.
So I have a brother
Yeah.
who has been an actor his whole life.
Yeah.
Went to school for it and went to New York and the whole thing. And he opened a casting company in Boston,
Okay.
Kevin Fennessy Casting. And he would often, last minute, say, "Oh, I need to fill this with,
I need an extra.
10 extras,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
can you come down?" And he'd pull a family in,
Sure.
And so I would go in, and then I started to enjoy it.
Of course you did.
Hanging out with the actors,
Yeah.
Kate Hudson and
Wow.
and Dane Cook and different ones, Danny DeVito.
Who's a riot. Yeah.
So I
So
got
this is when things
cast-
were being shot in Boston.
Right.
You would
yeah,
help
he
your
was,
brother
he
out.
was a Boston.
Okay, if
casting.
you need me, I'll be there.
So I ended up being cast as a bartender in a movie called My Best Friend's Girl.
Oh.
With Dane Cook and Kate
Yes,
Hudson.
yes.
And serving them as they came through.
You were a
and
bartender in
I
that.
was a
Everybody has
bartender.
to go look at that
That's
movie.
right.
My best friend's
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. But it was
Behind
fun.
the bar.
But it was, and being an attorney at the time, I had a lot of downtime where I could manipulate my schedule.
Yeah.
And that's why he liked calling me.
that's so
because
funny.
I could say, okay, I'll come in.
Sure.
I have Tuesday and Wednesday. I can move a couple of appointments
Yeah.
and things. So,
And this kind of goes with your whole wanderlust, where you're always wanting to do something else
That's
and
right.
something
That's
different.
right. That's
Yes.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So here I am. All that brought me to Kingston.
Yeah.
I thought the community was kind of a perfect fit for me in size and location and just the people. When I was interviewed by the Board of Selectmen, felt very comfortable
Yeah.
with that board, and they made me feel comfortable. And lo and behold, they hired me. Now
And you've been
this
there how long?
I'm going into my 5th year.
Okay. As
I
the
can't
town
believe how
administrator. Yeah.
time flies.
Now, are you on-
August 1st, we'll finish 4 years, and then
Are
I'll
you on
start my
contract?
prep. I am. I'm on a 5-year contract. So the way that worked, when I was hired, we negotiated. They offered me a contract,
Yep.
and I accepted it. And after a year, they did a performance evaluation of my work and felt very comfortable. It was all high marks
High
and
grades,
so forth. And that would have been my second year of that contract. And in town administrative positions, people don't wait till the third year to start looking for another position because they want to, if
Constantly
something
move.
shows up,
Yep.
they want to be able to see what's there and then.
Is it always a search for a bigger town and a bit more responsibility
Sometimes
for some people?
it's more security and location.
Yeah.
And,
But you like Kingston.
I love Kingston. I put myself, I immersed myself into Kingston.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to that. So then after that first year, they were looking for stability in the town administrator's position
Sure.
because there was 4 town administrators in 3 years in the town, and it
Yeah,
was
that's
a
chaos
crazy
for
time.
any town.
Yes, and
that's
they
hard.
needed that. So
Yep.
so they offered me a 5-year contract to take me from that point 5 years forward.
Yep.
And that's what I'm in now is that contract. So I have 2 years left on
Okay.
this contract.
Now, do you, just looking into the future, do you feel you want to stay here?
I would love to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and
You've kind of found your footing.
also thinking about moving here. That the Kingston, I immerse myself into the community itself. Oftentimes go over to the senior center and
Yeah.
and talk to people.
Yeah.
I go to every single event that the town has,
yeah.
the luminaries and the,
Yes,
the
you do.
Memorial
You
Day
show up
Parade.
everywhere.
And that's important to me because I think it gives people that feeling that I really am invested in this community.
Right.
And so much so that we'll probably be looking down in this area.
Where do you live now?
So I'm from Plainville.
Okay.
Which is
That's kind of a hike.
that's kind of a hike.
Yeah.
But I'm engaged to a woman in Boston.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so when we do decide where to meet,
Yeah.
this will be probably the location or the area that we're looking.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So,
That's
yep.
great.
It's
Now-
just an engagement. It's no date set, but people.
Are we all
Everybody
invited?
keeps
We're all
asking,
invited
when
to the
is
wedding.
the date?
Everyone's
when
invited.
is the date?
Oh, that's
There's
great.
no date yet. No.
Now, a lot of people don't really understand what a town administrator or a town manager does. What is your biggest function, I would say?
Probably the biggest function is overseeing the budgetary issues, as well as each department head. I was fortunate when I came to Kingston. Town administrators, when we meet, we talk about, who did you inherit
Yeah.
as your department head?
Right.
So, fortunately, I have a great crew in Kingston.
Yeah.
I mean, top to bottom, and the staff too that works for Kingston. It's unbelievable. So that made it easy because
Sure.
it's more overseeing the department heads to make sure that they're doing what they have to do. Kind of a trickle down effect, but ultimately the buck stops here.
Right.
The old saying.
So you sign
And
off on-
You see everything. Get
Yep.
involved in things.
Yep.
There's employment issues. There's budgetary issues. There's building issues. There's it's everything.
Right.
It's soup to nuts of management of a whole town
Right.
of
So
43
you
million.
really need to know quite a bit about every single department within your town.
Yes.
So
yes.
what was the easiest department to get to know, and what was the most difficult for you to really get to understand?
Probably one of the easiest would be. Well, it's kind of.
I would think the
it kinda
police
goes
departments that
by-
you
yeah,
were-
that's one.
right.
But it's kind of location too, because in the town hall I see those.
Yep, who
those
work there. Yep.
Department heads more often than the ones on the outside. So I really can't say which is the easiest. It's more of a combination of working with the department heads and seeing what they're doing too.
But you've learned a lot in the last
I have
4
in
years.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years, and a number of years in Boylston,
Yeah.
and then 18 years very active selectman in my
Plainville,
town.
yeah.
Last time I ran against somebody in the planning board, and I took over 90% of the votes.
Wow.
So they were very comfortable. They had a retirement party for me when I had to leave the board to take this position.
I bet they miss you.
And they do, and
Yeah.
they constantly reminding me of that.
Yes.
So
So since you've been here, what have been the biggest challenges that the town has faced?
Biggest challenges, I think some of the challenges that have been resolved were three kind of key positions that the board had asked me to look into filling.
Okay. Were they already
and
filled? or-
They are.
Okay.
It's the IT director,
Yeah.
the HR director, and the facilities director.
Okay.
So those are positions that almost every town has, and if they don't, they're in serious need of
Right.
having those positions. I mean, here we're like a $45 million budget,
Right.
and with hundreds of employees, and we didn't have an HR. We had nobody overseeing day to day
Yeah.
the laws and regulations that constantly change.
They do,
And being a former attorney in employment law, you
You
see
know it,
that
yes.
it puts you at risk.
Yeah.
And to get somebody in, and we have that filled, was important.
Is that a full-time position?
That's a part-time 27-hour-a-week
Okay,
position.
yep.
The other two have started off as part-time and became full-time.
Well, I would think IT,
IT
whereas
and
everything is-
facilities.
yeah.
We have so many buildings and so many needs in these buildings.
Right.
That we needed somebody who can oversee them day to day.
Right.
And draw in a whole facilities department. Now overseeing the custodians and so forth.
Sure. Now, how involved do you get with the planning department and the master plan and all that's going on in
Just
Plymouth?
as an oversight, we have a planner coordinates that,
Yep.
the master plan, and that's in its process of being put together.
Yeah.
There's been a number of meetings and so forth on that. And working with the planner to look at other areas that could be developed. One is coming up at town meeting, Saxon Partners, an area where they're looking to put in a commercial and industrial
Mixed
area.
use?
Mixed use
Yep.
area.
Yep.
And we also worked very closely with the mall, the now called the Kingston Collection.
Right.
And working to help them enhance that mall and make it viable. Because there was a time where it was on the verge of going under.
Sure.
And we worked very diligently to bring them back and be supportive of what they were doing.
Yeah.
To get that going, and now it's very vibrant.
It's doing very well.
Very
Yeah,
good, yeah.
right. And when it first opened, it was doing very, very well.
Yes,
I remember it
'cause,
was crazy.
yeah.
It was-
And when you
couldn't
think
find a
about it,
parking
I mean,
space.
the closest mall is Braintree.
Right.
From
Well,
there.
or Brain-
Well,
or
Hanover's
Hanover.
closed right now.
Yeah,
And that was very small, Hanover.
yeah. They're going to revamp too,
But
I
all the way
guess.
down, yeah, I think
Yeah.
they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have to. They have to look at a different way of doing things.
Right. So Kingston, looking forward, what are some of the projects? What are the things that you find the most priorities that you need to work on in the next few years?
Well, I was a member of the police station building committee for the past 2 years, and that's a project that needs to happen at some point. Either a new police station or probably almost equal in money to renovating the current police station, but it's woefully inadequate for the department, for the officers and the town. Needs a lot of work, and it's just not. It wasn't built properly to be a police station.
Yeah.
There's security issues with the way, even the way it's set up. You can't change that
Right.
Without a major renovation
Right.
or a new building.
Now, are you looking at
So-
putting a new police station at the same location or a new
Well,
location?
we're looking at all options.
Okay.
We're looking at the same location, other locations. Right now, it's on hold while we were doing a little more investigation. We took it off the warrant this year, so we give the town a chance to do a little more research.
Because it's an expensive proposition.
It's a very
Very expensive,
expensive,
right.
$11 million. That's a
Right.
a hit. And one of my biggest concerns is to minimize the tax burden on the town folk.
Residents, sure, of
Because
course.
it's, every time you do things, we have also a library
Yep.
that we're looking to either renovate or build
Yeah.
or do something with. So there's a number of building needs, but there's other needs too
Such
in the
as?
town. Such as the roads and the infrastructure.
Right.
of buildings and roads, and there's just a lot of things.
And it never stops.
It never stops.
Yeah. Now, is Kingston a green community?
Kingston is a green community.
So talk a little bit about that. You were one of the first.
One of the first,
Yeah.
in the Commonwealth,
Which is pretty cool.
It really is. It really is, and it's working with, when you're a green community, you also open yourself up to grants,
Yeah.
and monies
Yeah.
to help stay at that level, and we've been able to stay at that level and take in hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants and rebates and so forth. Last year, well, actually it was December of 15, so a little over a year and a half or so, the town was awarded the Governor's Award for the leading by example in energy.
Which is
So
really,
that was
neat.
awesome. That was
Yeah.
one of my nicest days to go in and accept that plaque from them.
Yeah.
And it's hanging up in the town hall. So we're on the cutting edge. Some people, look at it as is it necessary?
Right.
But the money we're saving in
Sure.
energy costs in our buildings,
Now, do you have a solar field, or you just use your wind turbines?
we're the wind turbines, but we're permitting a solar farm soon. So that's going
And where
through
will
right
that
now.
be? Do you have a location
It's
bid?
going to be on where the landfill is.
Yeah, a lot of towns are doing that. Yeah.
Because it's land that
You
it's
can't
just
use
sitting there.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's going to be the first one.
Yeah. Now, what about the population of Kingston? Are you landlocked at this point? Is there a lot more land that can be developed?
We're not landlocked, but there's not a build out is not that great.
Right.
Unless some major apartment complexes going in,
Sure.
going or something, but no, it's pretty stable.
Yeah.
Some of the development proposals had concepts of building additional housing. The industrial one down at the Saxon Partners, that the residential was taken out of that because it's kind of behind Walmart. It's not
Right.
really a
Right.
place that people would probably want to live.
Right.
But there's a movement too to bring in affordable housing.
I was just going to
in
ask you about
Kingston.
that. Do you have any 40B housing in Kingston right now?
We do. We have some 40B complexes, but we have a number of proposals coming down the line for 40R,
Which is- what's the
it's kind of
difference?
a mixed transportation, residential, commercial,
Oh, okay.
all into one.
Oh, all right.
Some that you see in other communities. I don't know if you've been to like Legacy Place in Dedham, where they have apartment complex and condos and the new mall and new outside mall there. So that's kind of exciting too. Those projects.
Okay. Now, what about the school system? Because a lot of people move to a town because of their school system. Tell me about Silver Lake is the regional high school
Yes,
that
yes.
Kingston's part of, and then Kingston has its own elementary school system.
Yes, and from what I know and deal with the school system, it's phenomenal.
Yes.
Right from kindergarten all the way to high school graduation.
Yeah.
It's people do come to Kingston because of the schools.
Right.
The Silver Lake, King Philip is my regional school in my
Right,
town.
right. But Silver Lake is almost like a college.
It really is.
The things that the
campus
kids
is-
can pick
Yeah,
from are
it's-
just incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you need that diversity too for
Yeah.
them to be able to go to their passions. And a lot of them do take that into their careers.
Oh, yeah.
Right from high school.
Yeah.
So it's important to have
Yeah.
that. And I think it's great.
And Kingston's a really cool town because it's a mixture of all kinds of people and classes and income levels, and it seems to be a town that is really cohesive and really together. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like you said, just the town management of all the departments and you as the town administrator. You all get along. You all can talk.
That's right.
You all
that's
can
right.
work things out, which is such a wonderful example because there's so many towns that have departments that are at each other's throats all the time.
Well, it's kind of it's a similar thing to Boylston. When I went to Boylston, one of my mantras was to bring people together.
Right.
And when I got there, it was very broken up. The
Yeah.
town hall, there were people talking to each other.
It's polarizing,
So
yeah.
I started in Boylston. I started a program where we had lunch every Tuesday
Yeah.
in the break room in the big boardroom.
Yeah.
And it was going to be Chinese food. It was going to be something else, Italian, and we'd all come together. And it was to get rid of rumors and innuendo that was going on out in the town, and it worked. It brought everybody together. People were talking to each other, helping each other out, going that extra mile. And then when I came to Kingston, it was a kind of a similar situation where. Because of the town administration over a period of time,
Right,
there was
you had
this
so many. It was fractured, sure.
of the upstairs. And in fact, when I got there, I remember, so I came in August, and in December they're asking, so when are we going to have the second floor Christmas party? And I said, what do you mean the second floor Christmas? Well, the first floor, they do their own and we do our own.
Oh.
I said, oh, that stops right now.
Right.
Right now.
Right.
And never again. And,
Right.
and we have a great Christmas party for everybody is invited, and we do the swap and all that, and
that's
have
great.
food, and it's great. And so working with a good group of employees makes it a lot more enjoyable for me.
Right.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah. And I think that starts at the top, though, because if you have someone who's running the town who is open and honest and inclusive, it trickles down. It just has to. It can't not trickle down, which is why I think you're...
Who are you talking about?
You.
Oh, okay.
And you know I'm talking about you. Yeah.
I'm getting bad.
I know. Well, even when we have you here on the set, we have you on PACTV Community News a lot with Town Talk, and just the first time I met you and interviewed you on the set, you're just one of those people that you meet, and I feel like I've known you all my life.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's
a nice compliment.
But
Thank you.
It's you. I mean, that's just who you are, and I think that's probably why you do so well in Kingston, and why you are respected, and why your town is doing so well.
Thank you.
So good for you. So, what? Any closing comments or thoughts
Closing
for the people
comments.
of Kingston?
I love it here. I welcome anybody to come in and talk to me if they have any issues.
You have an open door policy.
Open door, yeah. It gets a little hectic around the town meeting times and different periods during the year, so there may be a delay in things, but it's really it's been a great fit. I have a great board of selectmen.
Yeah.
I have really great department heads and employees, and I love the community. So I want to thank the community for welcoming me too over these years.
Yep, it goes both ways.
Into the community.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Because that's important.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Robert Fennessy. We've learned quite a bit about you
Well,
today.
thank you.
And it was great to have
it's
you.
interesting being on this side of the table. Next time I'm over there.
Okay. So that does it for our Coffee and Conversation for this week with Robert Fennessy.